fans to the Week in Horror podcast, the only podcast that's the warmest place to hide. This week we're covering select horror films released February 14th through February 20th. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm Alex, and as always, with me today are JL and Eugene.
Hey everyone. Where is he? Are you muted? Is Eugene muted?
No, I'm not muted.
Say hello?
That's it.
Okay.
What's up?
Oh, I didn't hear you. My bad.
Listen, this was supposed to go smooth tonight, guys. You're already fucking it up.
Well, that lasted 10 seconds.
Oh, yes, and big thank you to Johnny O in the back who's helping us to stream this. So thank you, sir. We do appreciate it. Oh man. So a few things. Wow. Let's take a look. Thank you everybody for joining us. Looks like we got some fantastic people in the live chat. Let's take a look. Jessica G is with us as always, our stream queen. Can't wait to see what she brings to the theater next. NA, the man, has arrived. One of our both excellent patrons. Let's see, Jinju, excellent to see you again. Basic Trigonometry, always good to see you. Sexiest name on the internet. Sarcasm has arrived. And Sarcasm, we got that note. We were aware of the buzzing that occurs. We're still trying to sort that out, which is why Johnny is helping us out with the stream. Let's see, Mandevil, good to see you, sir. I hope you got my email. We need to get something sorted out with your address so we can get your prize to you. And Chris Durham Music Channel, good to see you. Tina Jones, always a pleasure. Oh, man, Jessica G is tearing up the chat.
You mean she does what she does best?
Great stuff. Oh, there's a bunch of, she does what she does best. There's a bunch of stuff in there about, me and ghosts and spirit boxes. And, I just need to unplug the USB cord from the tablet and put it into the Ouija board. Thank you, Mandevil. But just great stuff. Yeah. And the George said and Charlie Welch, good to see you both. We do have an excellent lineup for you guys tonight. So Little Wolf, good to see you. And I think we before we jump into the movies that we've selected tonight, which I see everybody has seen in the description, we got some good ones lined up. But man, a couple things that happened this week and are going to happen. But first, we lost a legend. Christopher Plummer recently passed away, which is such a shame because damn, he was good in like everything he did.
It sucks. It's one of those it's bound to happen. And the actors get old and eventually they pass away, but it just sucks every time it does happen.
Yeah. And I immediately I heard about that and I went home and I had to watch Dolores Claiborne. He played the hey Kevin Paul, good to see you. He played the detective in that was trying to had like the decades long vendetta against Dolores, against Kathy Bates' Dolores, but one of the greatest Stephen King adaptations ever made. Kathy Bates, just magnificent, and everybody was fantastic. David Strathairn, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and of course Christopher Plummer. But man, I just remembered that it's just like God, he was so good. And of course, he was in Dracula 2000. His filmography is long. One of the greatest testaments, and I wanted people to remember this. One of the coolest things I've ever seen an actor do is that. All the Money in the World, okay, Ridley Scott film, and originally Kevin Spacey was in the role of the patriarch of the family. So the movie is finished. The movie is in the can weeks before, I'd say almost a month before before shipping out. And then, of course, all of the shit went down with Kevin Spacey. So Ridley Scott pulled all the Kevin Spacey footage from the movie and then reshot everything with Christopher Plummer. So Christopher Plummer shot Kevin Spacey's entire role within like a month's time. And it was pitch perfect. That was the level of talent.
You know what? The last movie I saw him in was Knives Out, where,
Yes.
Which was, I remember seeing a commercial for it, and then I saw it at the Red Box, and I was like, I feel like I wanted to watch that. And it was because he was in it, and then I did watch it, and I was like, all right, okay. That was a good movie. And then, unfortunately, passed away not too long after that. I'm glad that he got to pump one more good one out there.
I heard there's a video out there of like I think his last performance, like his final performance was actually theater, and he was on stage, and he was just amazing. Like it capped his entire career with one of the most stellar performances he'd ever given. And I wish I'd gotten to see him on stage, because seeing known actors like that when they're doing, obviously see him in movies and you're kind of, oh, I can you get this kind of sense of it, but when you see him live, especially in the theatrical production, it just will just take your breath away, the level of talent of many of these individuals. So very, very cool. But yeah, we lost a major legend there. So rest in peace, Christopher Plummer. He's got a massive filmography that I could across all genres. So I highly recommend checking him out if you haven't seen any of his films lately. But also, Eugene's got some news, which I think is pretty cool.
I'm doing an interview on the Sherry Bronson TV show. And so she is a TV producer out here in Dallas, and she is recently signed a deal. So she's going to be on Amazon, Roku, Apple Plus TV, and she's actually interviewing local filmmakers. She ended up contacting me. We chatted for a little bit and everything. We're recording it this Saturday, but I believe it'll actually debut in March, because I think that's when her channel is starting up. But yeah, so if you have Roku, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, anything like that, it's going to be her second channel. Definitely, I'm going to be on there. Some other great I do know that I'm friends with will be on there too. So definitely come check it out, because I'm talking about my upcoming project, Brother Bones. I want to be talking about the Weekend Horror podcast and just a bunch of other great stuff. So definitely check out Sherry Bronson.
Can you spell that for me? Is it SHERRY or SHERY or I?
I believe it's SHERRY.
Bronson?
I will actually double check real quick.
And is there a link?
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Sherry Bronson show.
I will post a link once it becomes available in March, so that way everybody will be able to check out the interview.
You know what? We can link to her website, sherrybronson.com. Let's do that. And I will put that link in the live chat so people can check that out. That is where your interview will be. That's badass, man. That's so freaking cool. Getting tapped to do it. Freaking TV.
Oh yeah, it's sweet. It is.
We can hold podcasts and do TV interviews. Yeah.
Movie and TV. What are y'all doing?
Nothing.
Oh shit. Oh, Charlie Welch. I don't know. I'm not seeing any lag. We appear to be looking good. OBS is strong. Our signal is good. So as far as I can tell, everybody's coming in clear. Let us know if there's any issues. Let me see here. Also, something that we wanted to ask the chat before we get started. So we do the Bloodbath debates, and anybody who listens to us on Anchor or any of the other podcast sites, of which we just added a bunch. So we were on I think 10. Oh no, we were on 9 podcast sites. Now we are on 18. So we're on 18 different podcast sites. So you can find us anywhere and everywhere. If you listen to us if you listen to us there, you can hear our Bloodbath debates. Our Bloodbath debates go up at the top of every month. Hope that you guys are enjoying them so far. But I just wanted to be curious. Basic Trigonometry says I am in 180p. So apparently I do look a little
I'm looking at the
funky
right
on
now.
the.
We're all kind of. The only person is Eugene.
Yeah, looking at the stream, I look a little funky.
The roles have been reversed.
That's wild because I have a 1080p camera. So anyway, so we wanted to ask the chat. We wanted to ask the chat if you guys have any ideas. Apparently, there's no lag. Tina Jones says there's no lag, but I am a little pixelated. But we were.
Brutus B38, what's up?
And we want to know if you guys had any Bloodbath debates that you would like to see us do. Now, we have a list of them we've been doing, but we were looking for other ideas. If there's anything special that you guys would like to see us, any icons you'd like to see us fight. The next one coming up is going to be the Tall Man from Phantasm versus Slender Man, which I think is going to be a good one. We're going to be actually recording that later tonight. But yeah, if there's any bloodbath debates you would like us to do, then throw them in the comments below or hit us up, weekendhorror@gmail.com. We would love to get your recommendations and see if and we can put those together. We'd like to get this on the schedule. Or even better, if there's a rematch you'd like to see. Like Freddy versus the Djinn, or Jason
Michael
versus
Myers. That was our first one, right?
Michael Myers, or maybe that was our very Jason versus Michael. The battle of the mute
that
brutes.
one when we're not both like fucking shaking because we're so new at this whole thing.
For Little Wolf wants Killbots versus Deadly Friend. That's amazing. And I know you called it Chopping Mall, but I refuse to call it Chopping Mall.
No, I love the title Chopping Mall. I love it.
We should probably just let the live chat decide before the end of the show tonight.
I apologize.
So we should let the live chat
totally
decide before the end of the show what our next one is going to be. Godzilla versus Chucky.
That's amazing. Oh, Bloodbath. Jail versus Alex.
Let's do it.
I pick Godzilla.
Let's do it. Oh, that is hilarious.
Hold on, Jessica. Are you talking about a full-blown like PvP, me, JL, and Eugene, or are we like debating against each other? Because
or just like who
you can only see one side of the camera. I've got a wall filled with like chainsaws and all sorts of crazy shit over here.
Celebrity deathmatch.
Alex gets to use his parrot. Listen, the parrot would kill all of us and fucking.
That is so weird. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not going against a parrot.
Ooh. Huh. Oh, you know what?
What?
My wife is Angela's streaming in the other room. I wonder if that's it. I wonder if that's it. I like this one. Brutus B38. Dr. Giggles versus the dentist.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I like that one. That's okay. We are writing that one down, Brutus. Thank you very much. JL. Oh, this is true. Sorry. I get to summon the power of ghosts, so I win. Apparently, in the three-way battle between us.
I've been seeing them my whole life.
We totally take on a ghost.
Wait. Alex's parrot, and Jessica G says Alex's parrot does count as an on-hand weapon. Jessica G says Eugene gets those two guns he calls arms, and I get to summon the power of ghosts. So we all have our special abilities. Charlie Welch wants Sophia from the Golden Girls versus the Where's the Beef Lady.
Bro, this was the best idea.
Okay, with a special appearance, of the Frank's Red Hot, the Frank's Hot Sauce chick. I put that shit on everything. Actually, Jinju, it's funny that you brought that up. We actually have a three-way that we want to do: Day of the Triffids versus Little Shop of Horrors versus Killer Tomatoes. So it'll be like Killer Tomatoes versus Audrey 2 versus the Triffids.
That would be cool.
Eugene,
Godzilla versus demonic toys.
Show your guns on the stream.
Hey, why?
Before you hurt somebody.
Sorry about that. Too much.
You'll put it.
That's for the Weekend Horror OnlyFans.
That's the calendar, bro.
Oh man. So cool. I mean, that is. I didn't even think of Dr. Giggles versus the dentist.
I feel like you've passed up
dead.
A pretty important one here.
Which one?
Nope, I lost it. Driller Killer versus Toolbox Murders.
Ooh.
Although I don't know if you're referring to the movie or the actual Toolbox Killer, the Toolbox Murders, which were fucking brutal. So
yeah,
Pennywise versus Killer Clowns. Charlie Welch. As interesting as it sounds, Pennywise is a cosmic entity. And the killer clowns are literally just aliens. They're just aliens that eat people. or they drink people, out of cotton candy cocoons. But Pennywise is like a cosmic entity. So we're actually going to have Pennywise. This is actually really cool. I can announce this. We're actually going to do a Pennywise debate. But we're going to do Pennywise versus Bagul.
Wait, can we do
Sinister.
Pennywise from the original It versus Pennywise from the new It?
They're both essentially the same. They're cosmic entities from the Macroverse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. But anyway, because it's a cosmic entity, kind of like almost godlike, Bagul from Sinister is also like a pagan god. It's also very much a godlike spirit. And so the two of them are very much the same. And just that Bagul manifests himself in the VHS tapes or in the beta tapes. And then Pennywise manifests as like the clown or the spider here on Earth. So the very similar matchup. I think the two of them fight together would be really
Trump
good.
versus Biden. Yo, we did that already, and it almost caused as much damage emotionally and physically as Batman versus Superman. Okay, we tried that. It didn't work out. Nobody won.
Trump. I like the follow up. Trump versus prison.
It didn't work.
Oh, we are not rewinding about 8 months, please. Yeah, I get that. PhD Tony versus the Daughters of Darkness. I know PhD Tony would love that. Oh, such good stuff. So we do. I appreciate it. Definitely drop those suggestions. Oh, a Sir Little Wolf in London versus Man Devil Man. I like that. That's funny because Sir Little Wolf and Man Devil. That's sweet. But definitely drop those suggestions for who you'd like to see in a bloodbath down there in the comments. If they, hopefully we can put them together. I think we have some. I can tell you right now. Who was it who gave it to us? Brutus. Dr. Giggles versus the Dentist is happening. It didn't even occur to me. That one is going to happen. I'm going to make that one happen. So this is going to be great. Michael Bay versus Hellraiser 3.
That might actually be a good fight.
Jessica G, that is so shitty. It would
end the universe
within itself.
Schlamading Dog be the debate ringleader there. What a twist!
Ooh, Sir Little Wolf, Devil Dog versus Man's Best Friend. That could be good. PhD Tony versus NyQuil. What knocks you out faster? All right. So you definitely get those suggestions in the comments. We will jump on those and see what we can put together. It should be a lot of fun.
Chill.
So yes, sir.
This is a
yes, sir. Talk to me.
Horror movie podcast.
Talk to me, Goose.
Can we talk about some fucking horror movies, please?
It is a horror movie podcast. Let's fucking do it. Yes.
And you know
I
what?
am
Before we go,
tonight.
I just want to say to our fans, thank you. If you guys are drinking, have one with me.
I totally wasn't
Alex
prepared.
drinking on stream.
You should have got a beer.
For you guys, love you.
Pamela Voorhees versus Ellen Ripley. Pamela is so toast. She got killed by a counselor with no skills whatsoever. All she could do was run. And Pamela got caught monologuing. You'll never see Ellen Ripley get caught monologuing. Ellen Ripley's like, get away from me.
That's it. Die. Ellen Ripley in the exoskeleton suit versus just Pam Voorhees.
You're done. Ellen Ripley gives no fucks. All right, we do. Let's get to our first film. And I've been so excited.
It's like one of the first films
to get to this one. Eventually. Yes, it's very early in there. So this film released February 14th, 1931, a Valentine's Day, which is just perfect because it is a love story. The movie Dracula.
The one and only.
The one and only.
The one and only. So directed by Todd Browning with assistance from Carl Freund. Screenplay by Garrett Ford, adapted from Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is the first authorized adaptation of Bram Stoker's novel. Sorry, Nosferatu, even though you are awesome as well. Starring the legend Bela Lugosi, David Manners, Helen Chandler, Dwight Fry, and Edward Van Sloan. How could I possibly sum this up? People are so familiar with the story of Dracula. You watch this movie not so much for the story. I mean, it's an excellent film. Bela Lugosi is fantastic in the role of the prince, and then of course everybody plays their roles to a T. You watch this for the experience of watching it. It is the story of Dracula. You're familiar with it. If you've seen the Francis Ford Coppola adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, it follows along the same line. Just the spectacle, obviously, it's 1931. The spectacle isn't there, but the acting is fantastic. And it's in black and white. It has a particular aesthetic that is common, with films of the time, and I think lends itself to really. The whole entire Universal monster line kicked off and gained its fame because of this film, even though it wasn't the first in the Universal monster line. The Phantom of the Opera actually came first, and there was a Wolfman before that. But it was Lon Chaney who brought the Wolfman to life, and of course, but it was Bela Lugosi as Dracula that said Universal monsters are a thing, that these are bankable, we can make money off of them, and it kicked off entire franchises, including crossovers between like Dracula and Wolfman and Frankenstein. So a legendary film, and definitely I would say required viewing for anyone who's a fan of horror and loves horror history, like we do.
Weird. It's almost like we do a podcast.
Exactly. But see, with Dracula, the thing that sets this movie apart, this is the one that really kind of gets into our like culture. That is, this is one of the first films that really transcends just being an actual film, because when we picture Dracula and when people use Dracula adaptations from here on out, we picture the Bela Lugosi one, the Count, the way his makeup is, that wardrobe, the costuming, all this kind of stuff. This is the go-to, and this is how this film is gone to, because you can find any 5-year-old or a 6-year-old and be like, who's Dracula? And they'll be able to tell you. And who they picture is the Bela Lugosi one. This is how big this movie has impacted our culture.
It's wild. And I think something that I found was really interesting, because reading up on this, and I was completely unaware that, very similar to a previous film we talked about when we talked about Invasion of the Body Snatchers in 1956, is that this film, like that film, was extremely disordered during production. It was a chaotic production, stuff shifting all over the place. Well, you drop this back over 20 years previous, 1931. It's Universal Studios. You have studio executives that you have to deal with, and obviously the Hays Code is in full swing. This was a chaotic production as far as bringing it together. There was a lot of craziness that went down as far as trying to get this one. And I think first and foremost was that Eugene, I think they didn't. No,
so they didn't want Bela Lugosi, and they wanted a list of other actors, including like Paul Mooney and Chester Morris and Eon Keith and John Ware, and a couple of others that they felt like was way better suited for leading men. But Bela Lugosi ended up winning the role over because he took a massive pay cut. So he agreed to do the film for $500 a week, so a total, he was only paid about $3,500 on it.
We're talking like 1931 though. So
yeah, I mean, 1931 is it's still above what average people were making, but in terms of film wise, it was like nothing.
Yeah, that's like compared to what other people were making at the time. We're talking like individuals like Abbott and Costello or Charlie Chaplin, and who were making bank, or Buster Keaton were making absolute bank, and were some of the that was money. Whereas $500 a week, you said?
Yeah, it's like $500 a week. Well, you realize same actors are making $10,000 a week, and this is about a time where average people are making $10-20 a week, like that was it.
That's wild.
And so he still made good money, but it definitely wasn't up to what they were making. And then on top of that, so had like some conflicts on set, because Bela Lugosi really dove into the character, and he would do things like not look at the mirror. He would actually throw his coat over a mirror and shout like, "I'm Dracula," because he didn't want to see his reflection at all. Bela Lugosi really dove into the character. And so kind of some of the other cast members were saw him as real eccentric on it, but Bela Lugosi is more of that method type of actor that Daniel Day-Lewis and some of the others really diving into it. But it was interesting because Bela Lugosi fought so hard to get this role, and when the filming was done, he was actually afraid that he's going to get typecasted as straight up just monsters. So he actually started kind of backing off. He was just really afraid of what it was actually going to do to his career in the end.
Can we talk about that? JL, we used to work together. I mean, after taxes, we weren't taking home much more than that a week at the job that we were working at. And I was thinking about it because I was like, okay, that wasn't that long ago, 1930s, and I was like, fuck, we're old. That was 90 fucking years ago. Seriously, I didn't even think about it because 1930, when I was a kid, it was a lot closer than it is now. But $500 a week, we weren't even making that. I mean, okay, we were, but like, you know what I mean? We were pretty close to that wage. If something went wrong during when we were working, we were making that much money. And if somebody was worried about that 90 years ago, shit, man, actors are overpaid. Bela Lugosi fucking deserved it in this movie. Are you kidding me? You're talking about eccentric. I mean, I am Dracula, and just the fucking faces, like when he's standing at the bottom of the stairs, when the door opens, and like that look on his face, like he was so good in this movie. Even today, I could be like, wow,
well, there was this. You can tell how much he loved it, how much he was throwing himself into it. There's a scene. There's a particular scene that Todd Browning lifted directly from Nosferatu. That he pulled it, just shot for shot, because it was such an iconic moment, and Browning wanted to capture that. You wanted Lugosi to do it. Lugosi knew what they were doing, so he gave everything he had to it. I mean, honestly, Shrek did a fantastic job. As far as portraying Count Orlok in Nosferatu, but Lugosi, I think, had a better grasp of performance because he's a theatrically trained actor. He was a theatrically trained actor. In fact, he played Dracula in the stage adaptation on Broadway, and that was one of the reasons why he wanted to do it, because he was familiar with it. It was recent, and so he was like, yes, I can do this. But because he was a theatrical actor, that's why the studios didn't want him initially. Because that translation from working theater to working to film is often very, very difficult. Classically trained actors from the theater dealing with a camera and not having an audience, not having the instantaneous gratification can oftentimes affect a performance. But
I think him being able to recall that stage acting experience actually really helped out, because in this film, we're kind of going for a little bit of an exaggerated of Dracula anyway. Like, I felt like when a lot of times when you get stage actors and they're saying they're playing a normal person in a film, it can translate bad because your audience is 12 feet away when you're on stage. You have to over dramatize everything. Your makeup is even dramatized, so it looks good from that distance and further back. Whereas with a camera, you can put a camera a foot away from somebody's face, and we can see every detail, every little thing. So little nuances that actors may do, the way they shift their eyebrows or the way they smile, doesn't come across on stage at all. But with Dracula, it just works.
Oh yeah, I've always loved that technique in black and white where they put the light across the eyes.
Yes,
just and they just highlight that one time. I love that technique. And when they use that in the Addams Family, when Morticia is laid in the bed and she just opens her eyes, she's got the strip of light right there.
That's people still try to recreate that on Instagram and shit with those little halo lights and whatever.
Oh yeah, and there's certain things that they did back then. A lot of times they would use filters on people's faces because a lot of actors started from stage and then went to film, and so they didn't like close-ups. And actually, a lot of female actresses at the time would have in their contract saying that they would not do an unfiltered close-up. For a lot of times, they wouldn't want to close-up at all. And then they kind of came in the middle, like, well, what if we put a filter? That's why a lot of those movies, when they would do a close-up on women, they'll have that hazy kind of effect. That's why.
Oh yeah, they would layer filters in front of the lens, in order to give that subdued image. And I would say it almost looks fuzzy. And the more they had to, depending upon how much they had to actually layer it out.
Exactly, it looks like Instagram filters today. Yeah.
Yes. when back then it was literally like a sheet of pantyhose that they just slid over the camera, and you just stretch it over the front of the barrel, stretch to the front of the barrel, and then you light that thing. You're going to get a nice
filter. Yeah, like
a nice
filter.
diffuse.
Yeah.
It's a filter, yeah, and it's going to smooth it out and make them look real. That's where you get that kind of classic 1930s, 1940s look, especially in black and white. It plays really well in black and white, especially when the scene is lit appropriately. Oh man, fucking like
here's the deal. Bela Lugosi's awesome. Always was, and this being so. It was like, let's bring it up a notch. It was unbelievable in this Dracula. I mean, you can watch. What is there like? I'm sure there's probably 100 Dracula movies out there right now. but when you watch this, it's like he brings this demented, psychotic feel to it that it should be. You watch some of these vampire movies, and they're like love stories or mushy gushy or slow and whatever, and it's like, no, you get Bela Lugosi in this role. He loved what he was doing. You could tell that. And just what he brought. There was a scene in the movie, if you remember, when the doctor was opening up a case, had the cross, and he smacks it out of his hand. Mm-hmm. The moments leading up to it, it was like the acting in that alone, being 1931, he's like completely unaware what's in the box, even though he knows what's in there. You just get this demented, psychotic feel to this whole movie that has never been portrayed the same to me.
Yeah, I mean, Bela Lugosi will always be Dracula. Yeah, I mean, always. They will always make Dracula films or TV shows or whatever, and there's some are better than others, but Bela Lugosi will always be the Dracula.
Oh, the Dracula by which we measure all Draculas. Because honestly, whether it's freaking Willem Dafoe as in Shadow of the Vampire, or Jerry Butler in Dracula 2000.
I forgot about Willem Dafoe, man.
No matter what you get, no matter how you, or even because Dracula even showed up in Buffy, and even that there were moments there where you could tell in that performance it was like one episode, and even in that you could tell that actor was pulling a little bit from Lugosi. Lugosi set the standard. And it will always be obviously the reason we have Jessica G's JL is Dracula Rez.
We're gonna have to go into the chat here in a minute because there's some crazy shit going on. But
Jessica's I'm looking at it. Jessica's killing me. But the big thing about it is we wouldn't have Frankenstein. We wouldn't have Karloff wouldn't have been given his shot. Chaney wouldn't have been given his shot. Claude Rains wouldn't have gotten his. We wouldn't have the Universal Monster selection if it wasn't for the strength that legitimately Bela Lugosi was the Robert Downey Jr. of his time. The whole reason we have a Universal, Tony, because of Robert Downey Jr., we got the MCU. Because of Lugosi, we got Universal
of
Monsters.
What Tom Cruise did to the Mummy.
Yes, very true. Yeah. Very true. Because let's face facts. Tom Cruise is no Robert Downey Jr.
Tom Cruise wants to fly a fighter plane.
Hey,
that is perfectly fine.
All day, I will watch him in Top Gun. I will watch Top Gun 2 with a fucking smile on my face. That's where he belongs, though. Nowhere else. My personal opinion.
Yes, Tom Cruise. Strap yourself to the side of a rocket and just keep going. I'm sorry. JL equals Justin Lorez. They're killing me. I am sorry. My camera is low resolution. Angela is streaming Hulu in the other room. She's watching Raising Hope. And that's what she's doing until she comes in to help us with the bloodbath debate later tonight. There's not much that I can do about that. I can't tell my wife she can't watch TV.
Never mind. I forgot we were live. I almost said some stupid shit.
Oh, Man Devil says blasphemy. Tom Cruise was the vampire that was stacked.
Man Devil, I have agreed with everything he said. And then you said Christine versus the car in the chats, and we've done that. And
yeah.
Yeah, I put the link up in the live chat.
You got to redeem yourself. Hey,
Sir Little Wolf says Jaws
Demented
versus
Pictures.
Piranha.
What's up? Welcome.
Interesting.
It says, "Do you know me?" Yes. You do those top 10 videos on YouTube. I've seen them before.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
We got
Jessica
Alien
G, what are you
Gaming. What's up?
doing? Hey, Alien X. Jessica G's jail versus the Patterson Gimlin Bigfoot footage.
JL versus the Mirror Naked.
Okay, the mirror wins every time. I run screaming. I will run screaming.
I just poured purple drink on my mouse. You guys made me laugh.
Let's see. Basic Trigonometry says Tom Cruise was good as Lestat, but like most roles, he needed to be a foot taller. That was funny. Well, okay, so his performance as Lestat was not bad. I liked the chemistry between him and Brad Pitt. I think they played off each other. They played that antagonistic relationship very, very well because it was almost exactly like it was in the book. That Louis starts out as very dependent on Lestat, but as he grows, he begins to separate himself. And of course, I got to chalk it up. That scene after they've fed him dead blood and slit his throat and dumped him in the friggin' swamp. That moment when they come back in the house and he's like all rotted and decaying and playing the piano and looks like a freaking zombie. That scene was amazing. I thought that was great. Of course, they set him on fire, and it was just, who doesn't want to see Tom Cruise on fire? So, but I thought that scene was well done. The cinematography there, obviously the makeup, special effects, I thought was really, really good. And Tom Cruise looked pissed as fuck because, he's got those dead eyes, but at least he can do angry well. I enjoyed Interview with the Vampire.
Did you?
I really did. Even, I liked it. I enjoyed it as a vampire film. It's Anne Rice vampires, which I think are a little too romantic for my taste.
Come out?
It's like 94?
96, I think.
Yeah.
Mid-90s.
I remember it was right in the middle of like when it was okay to be gay and then when it wasn't, and it was such like a thing for a long time that it was this gay story, and like nowadays it'd be not a problem, but back then it was so controversial. But then like I remember watching it like young and I read the book that was based off of, and I never felt it was like controversial until later in life, and then people started talking about it. I just had this conversation. The reason I was like, did you like it? Because I loved that movie, and I just had a conversation with a almost 80-year-old couple about this movie. They brought it up. Just the passion, just seeing these people talk about it the way that they did, it was like, I wish more people would see this movie as that. It was a good movie. It was a very well done movie without all the controversial shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was well crafted. It was, as far as movies go, it was very well crafted.
It was.
And somebody mentioned in the chat it was Charlie Welch. Charlie Welch, yes, and Mandeville as well. Kirsten Dunst gave one of the best child performances I have ever seen, and I have ever seen in my life. Kirsten Dunst made that movie. She was magnificent in that role, and especially her arc, how she goes from child to, she's been, in the body of a child for like 80 years or like 60 years, something like this. And so she's technically mentally she's in her twilight years, or she's old, but she's still stuck as a child. How she played that, the maturity of that, and the cynicism and the pessimism of the kind of like that character was brilliant. So absolutely taught, but still in some ways a child is unable to mature. Just, ooh, I would actually throw on top of there Dakota Fanning as well.
Another unpopular opinion. Oh God, never mind. Shit, I almost made a Twilight reference. It's vampire related.
Well,
she was good up until after the Twilight films.
Mandeville says, Jessica G, I feel like JL's feed is going to turn into a darknet snuff film.
I think that would make our ratings go up, man.
It probably would. All right. Before we jump, let's jump into the CTA. Jessica G is killing me over here. Keep this in mind, everyone. If a killer randomly appears behind JL, literally nobody in here will be able to identify him or her other than one of the pixels on the screen.
It'd be like a horror movie, Unfriended.
So crazy. Anyway, so yes, Dracula, a magnificent classic film, legendary Bela Lugosi, and probably his greatest role ever. He had a magnificent career, which lasts over 40 years. But so he's got plenty of movies and, of course, in television performances to check out. But definitely see this one if you have not. But I have a call to action for the audience. I want to know. We want to know. Let us know in the comments below or in the live chat or shoot us an email, weekendhorror@gmail.com. What was your favorite Dracula, your favorite film Dracula? And there have been several. And I would say, under the name Dracula, of the Draculas that have appeared, what was your favorite? Because Bela Lugosi wasn't the only Dracula in the Universal line. And, of course, you also have the Hammer horror series. So, Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, Jerry Butler, maybe even television Draculas, maybe the new one that just came out, the English one, which kind of like was a revival of the Hammer horror series. I can't remember the actor's name who played it, but I thought he was magnificent.
Oh, I need to see that.
Yes, the 3-series one.
If you haven't seen that, binge it as soon as possible. I watched it start to finish in one day. I woke up, I started it, I went to bed, I was like, I wish there was more.
What is it on? Is it on like Netflix?
It's so great. It really is.
It was
fantastic.
on Netflix.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. Yep. Oh, Jessica G would say Dracula dead loving it. So Leslie Nielsen is her favorite Dracula.
I love some Leslie Nielsen.
So definitely, Sarcasm says Gary Oldman channeled Lugosi in Gary Oldman channeled Lugosi in Interview with the Vampire. Come on, dude. Really?
Hey. Be nice. He has
but Gary Oldman was fantastic Dracula. Gary Oldman was a fantastic Dracula, and of course, Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. That was a great movie. I loved it. Even Keanu Reeves couldn't bring that movie down because I thought he was terrible as freaking Jonathan Harker, but he made it work. Basic Trigonometry says Grandpa Munster.
Okay.
He was.
Yeah.
I will allow it. Yes, it's been ruled on. Thank you, Alex. All right, let's kick off to our second one. Eugene, I was so glad I got to give
this. This is great. This is fantastic. I've been wanting to see it for a while, and I finally got a chance to watch it last night. And we are talking about VFW, released February 14th, 2020. And it is directed by Joe Begos, and it stars Stephen Lang, William Sadler, Martin Cove, and Fred Williamson. And basically what ends up happening is you have this VFW, for those of you who don't know, stands for Veterans of Foreign Wars, and they are bars that veterans hang out with. You have to be a veteran or know a veteran to get into them. So veterans can hang out, drink and stuff, and chit-chat with. And so you have a VFW, and this girl runs in who she stole a bunch of drugs from a bike. And so the biker gang tries to kill her, and the veterans decide that, well, we're here, we're going to go and defend and fight these gangs off, and fucking shit. It is awesome. It is so awesome. It is so fun because, like, I've been to the VFW a couple of times, and like how the bar is in that movie is exactly how it is. They're usually dive bars. A lot of times you'll get old timers, so you'll have a lot of like Korean War vets. You'll have a lot of Vietnam vets, and you'll have some few more of like modern stuff. But it's primarily those. So you have like kind of these older guys, but these are older guys that you don't want to fuck with. Because you'll get these guys, they're like, some old guy, and he's like 65, 70, something like that. And then you'll be talking to him, and he'll casually bring up how he was like a sniper and like smoked like 30 people while he was like overseas.
Holy shit.
I remember when I made my 75th kill, and it's like, oh shit, I should buy this guy a drink.
I'm like, what? Like, I'm impressed, sir. Good time. So, like, it was something. It was cool how they captured it, because even the feel of it. This was somebody who legit. I don't know if the director or producer or anything like that were veterans. I don't know, but it got the feel of it, and that's what I really enjoyed about the film.
Well, that's it. It was okay. So I recently just saw this too, because I didn't even know it was a film until we started talking about it. a couple of days ago, actually. And my favorite style of film is grindhouse. And this absolutely killed that genre. It was fan-fucking-tastic. You get into it, like you said, this person comes in, biker gang, shotguns, the lighting of this movie. This was just 100% pure grindhouse that we have not seen in a long time, which, I mean, besides, what was it, Planet Terror, and what was the other movie that came out?
Death Proof. And I would actually say, you bring that up, I would actually just comment on that because Grindhouse and Death Proof were both shot normally, made to look Grindhouse.
You could tell.
Okay. Whereas this movie, this movie was legit.
He could pull off Grindhouse any day of the week. For whatever reason, I mean, that was close, but we have not seen a good Grindhouse movie, and I'd say, I don't know if I've ever seen one new in my lifetime. And so
I can't think of one.
Yeah.
I can't even off the top of my head tell you the last one that was shot in my lifetime. I'm pretty young compared to you two.
No, I can think of one. Hobo with a shotgun.
Yeah.
In that style. And then you get this in 2020. We're so many years ahead of the last real grindhouse movie that this came out. I hadn't even talked about it when we talked on, or I haven't seen it since Sunday. I watched it. I don't even know what day it is. Oh, yesterday, Tuesday. I watched it yesterday, and I was blown away, absolutely. And the grindhouse style is so fucking cool. And then you get to just lines in it like it's Q&A time. It's just like, oh fuck yeah, no, dude, this was great. And it touches on a lot of things, like you said, the VFW. I've never served. I always wanted to, but I have a lot of friends that did. So I've been to VFWs. I've heard those crazy stories that you have talked about. It's insane. And then you put drugs in the middle of it, which is like taboo.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Alex?
We
dang,
lost
we did lose Alex mid-sentence.
Yeah, he was making a really good point too.
Yeah, okay. Until he gets back, let's take a look at what the chat is talking about.
All right, so Grindhouse is so great. Sorry, that's my horrible Alex impression.
Can they hear you? Oh. So let's see what we got here. This would be an interesting call to action. What's your favorite VFW movie? I don't. Just wait till I have this. Wait till I have the CTA. I said yes. Speaking of grindhouse, Death Proof, Zoe Bell is amazing, an incredible stunt woman. Also, the stand-in and stunt double for Uma Thurman in Kill Bill. That girl kicks serious ass. I love that moment when they finally get the car to stop. And Kurt Russell takes off, and they hit the brake. She flies off the car, and she lands in the weed. They don't know if she's dead or not, and it's just like this long tension without release. Until finally she just pops up. I'm okay. And I was like, holy shit! So freaking great. I love that. I love that shit. Zoe Bell is fantastic. Yes, Sir Little Wolf Hobo with the shotgun was hilarious. Rutger Hauer's finest performance. A hobo with a shotgun.
I actually do love that shit.
Dude, when he the guy in the manhole
and it drives off his head off.
Yes, it was so brilliant. Oh, it was fucking crazy. Oh man, that was Zoe can do everything, even hilarious and whip it. Yes, she was fantastic. Oh, and we had sarcasm mentioned Machete.
Yeah, I love Machete. I love that film.
Definitely okay. Yes, definitely. Trejo was amazing.
You saw a guy get killed by a lowrider. Like, that's awesome.
Interesting story about Danny Trejo. My wife worked in the service industry, and she was working for a restaurant called Eddie V's. And they cater to pretty much high clientele. It's a very, very expensive restaurant anyway. So they get celebrities all the time. Tony Romo from the Dallas Cowboys, Ed Too Tall Jones come in there. Ralph Lauren, shit like that. Anyway, one day she's working, and fucking Danny Trejo walks in. So he comes in, he's wearing a wife beater, he's got fucking like, Chico's on, just whatever. He's Danny Trejo. So he comes in, he's got a couple friends with him, and he's like, hey, can I get a table? And he's like, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, Danny, come on in. Let's get you a table. He's like, fantastic. Hey, but while you guys set that up, my friends are gonna sit down. I'm gonna go across the street and check out this gym real quick. So I'll be back. So that's what we tell. Apparently he came over to Eddie V's, which is a 5-star seafood restaurant, because he was turned away at the door at Nick and Sam's because he didn't match dress code. So Nick and Sam said, like, no, Danny Trejo cannot eat here because Danny Trejo's wearing a wife beater and jorts. And so he was like, okay, whatever. So he went to Eddie V's. They were like, yeah, well, yes, get in here, bring all your friends. It was freaking awesome. So Angela got to meet Danny Trejo, which is pretty badass. Alex wants to know, can we get him back in? I'm assuming
there he is. Okay.
There he is.
Get cut off. Sweet.
So apparently Mandevil was saying Zoe Bell said it was so hard for her to not hide her face during the sense, because that's what she's used to doing, most likely. And Tarantino was yelling at her, you can show your face, because she's used to cheating away because she's a stunt, because she does stunts. And it's like, yeah, because she was Zoe Bell playing herself. God, she was amazing. She was so awesome.
We know you just playing.
Jessica G says, did she get a picture with him, and was it in as low res as your current stream feed jail? No. Unfortunately, she did not get a picture with him because she was working, and it was, kind of like, you don't hassle the celebrities.
Why not?
Well, the guy wants to go in there and eat.
I missed the entire story. So.
We were talking about Danny Trejo. He came into my wife's restaurant while she was working one shift because he was turned away from Nick and Sam's because of how he was dressed.
Wow. Just fucking cut my thumb. I went to one of his.
So stupid. Yeah, Sir Little Wolf. So stupid. Danny can wear whatever the fuck he wants.
I saw him at one of his food drives out in Dallas. Unfortunately, I didn't get to fucking go up and talk to him or anything, but he was there. I could see him from where I was standing, and I was like, you know what, this is good enough. I'm not gonna go bug the guy. He's giving free food to fucking people who need it. So,
well, that's one thing I think we can say is that Grindhouse is a lost art. They don't come around very often, despite the fact that every time a Grindhouse film comes along, I don't think there's a horror film I've met that does not love them. Films like Machete, Hobo and Chill, which coincidentally were both trailers for in the Death Proof and Planet Terror films. They were fake trailers made that were so popular they got made into actual movies. And then, of course, a movie like VFW. Grindhouse is a lost art. Shooting in that style is more difficult than shooting digitally, because you shoot with film. And then, of course, you go for a specific look, a specific light scheme, and then, of course, color correction. But because it's so difficult to recreate digitally, to recreate on the computer, it's much easier to shoot in the style that they did. Yeah,
you would get that cheap film stock that was whatever, like the 16 millimeter or Super 35 or whatever they shot on back then. And you were just basically at that time, it was just your standard low budget amateur filmmakers. They were the ones who were making it. So they were just kind of doing their thing, and it worked as Grindhouse. And now today, when we get our 6K high-end digital cameras that people can just buy off of Amazon, you have to go back and track some of the cameras down, track that style of film stock down, and it could actually be more expensive to shoot Grindhouse today than
Yeah, especially when you're talking about developing film stock. That's one of the toughest things. It can get incredibly expensive. So, but I really I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought VFW blew me away because I unfortunately don't have much experience as far as with veterans. My grandfather was a Marine, but he died pretty much around the time that I was born. But there were stories there. But the one thing that struck me was the camaraderie of the actors. I thought it was that these guys worked
Bro,
I think
yes,
worked as
when
a
he
unit.
was like, okay, so there was a line, he's like, me and my friends are gonna die here tonight unless you help us out. And it was like, he's like, you know, this is me and my friends, like we're gonna die here if we don't get this straightened out. And so it was like, yeah, no, the camaraderie, and it was, I don't know. Yeah, keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That was
No, you're right. You're right. It was they obviously the actors went through obviously these guys have played military roles before in the past. Almost every one of them has played a role where they were engaged in some form of militaristic character at one point or another. So they can bring that into it, but to work together as a unit requires training as a unit. And training, and so you had a couple of guys who were in Korea, a couple of guys who were in Nam, and then you had the one young dude who was fresh back from Afghanistan. And so another thing I love, the dichotomy between there was a dichotomy between those wars between Korea and Nam and today. So it's two different mentalities of soldier. However, not really. There's kind of like an unspoken language between them, that they had an understanding of one another, despite the fact they were separated by 30, 40, 50 years.
There was a famous
like they got that.
Eugene, you should know this. War never changes.
Yeah, war is war.
Ulysses S. Grant, right?
Yeah, war never changes, and it's despite whatever technology that you use. It's always the same, where it's muskets, machine guns, airstrikes, whatever. And it's the kind of thing where you can't describe it to someone who's been there, and the fact that they've been there already puts you together.
It's the fact that, like, okay, yes, cool, you could have been in Nam, where, I mean, it was a shit show, absolutely. And in my opinion, like an unnecessary war, but like we were there, it happened. It doesn't matter what people think about it, what it was. The people were there, and people came back, and they had to reacclimate with society, and that's hard no matter what war it was. Korean War, my grandpa or my dad was around for the Korean War. My grandpa was in a war that he only told my grandmother what he did in the war. He did something so secret that he won't tell anybody ever, unless they're on their deathbed. My grandma was dying when he told her what happened. You know, there's things that it changes people in a way that people who haven't experienced could never understand. And whether it's like you get trained, I know they train you to like not feel when you kill and yada yada, they're the enemy. It doesn't matter. These are still people. No matter how hard you try to condition somebody, they're still a person. And that's like, it doesn't matter what war you were in, you dealt with the same things that everybody has dealt with in that position. And that's the hard thing to deal with. And you look at these movies, JL, we've talked about underlining meanings in movies. This movie was a good movie. I could never feel what other people would feel seeing this movie, being in that situation, being those vets, being that, you know, close to somebody in the way that, like, my life depends on that person every single day. It hits people differently, and that's what makes this movie great, is it's different for every person that watches it.
It really is, because it's hard acclimating back, and that's something that a lot of people don't, PTSD and all sorts of kind of stuff. But just to transition in general, where you have your unit, you have your brothers, you'll take a bullet for them, you're gonna have to trust everybody you're with, and then you get out of the military and you have a good friend that'll stab you in the back. You'll have a job that'll screw you over. You'll have it's like, oh, well, you try to find these bonds again. I mean, I still talk to people from my unit. I've been out for almost 10 years, and I was talking to my old sergeant like 2 days ago, kind of thing. And like, he's still in everything like that. But you try to find these bonds, you try to find these things, and what happens to a lot of veterans, they feel isolated because you can't trust people anymore. So you have a place like VFW to go, like, well, why don't you come here? And you can actually talk to people to sometimes just to shoot the shit. It doesn't necessarily veterans get together and talk about, oh, we're going to talk about the most gruesome war stories and the worst days. Sometimes we talk about just funny stuff that happened.
That's what I wanted to ask. That's what I wanted to ask was like, when you go to the VFW, because I've been there a few times. Like I said, I got friends that were in the military. I don't know if you guys caught that. I've got friends that were in the military, a lot that just came back not too long ago. And I've been to the VFW, and it's not about war stories. It's about going somewhere where you can trust the person that you're talking to. Because you can go to any bar you want ever and talk to somebody, but I don't trust anybody that I talk to on a daily basis as is. But you go to the VFW and you can trust the words, every single word that comes out of anybody's mouth there. And I feel like that's what people are looking for, especially in that situation where you're trying to reacclimate. You get fucked over so many times by the people when you come back, because people suck in general. And then you get to this point where it's like, I just want somebody to talk to that I know I can trust.
Yeah, it's something, because I've gone to bars and somebody will be starting like, oh, I'm a vet and blah, blah, and I can tell they're lying like right off the bat. And I usually don't call people out on, I was just whatever. I'll do some Black Ops special, sniper, SEAL, Green Beret, Delta Force, all in one, Jason Bourne. I've heard, and most of the time it's just like yeah, sure, man, whatever. Okay, blah, 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 blah. But right. When you actually get to go to a place and we can sit, we can chat, and it's interesting because you can exchange like boot camp stories and, hey, do funny guys that we met this, and oh man, we got this over our sergeant's head or lieutenant's head or whatever in it. And it's a certain vibe. And I think that's one thing that transfers with this movie is once you're a veteran, you're always a veteran. And once you've been trained to do violence, you can always go back to that. And that's something that's like, I don't want to, but if I need it, it's still there.
Right.
That was a big thing in this, and it actually made me ask the question. So obviously, VFW had a major trope in it. The trope that I saw was basically the connection between the military and violence. Now, obviously, our good servicemen and women go out there and they fight for our rights, and they defend this nation, and they have a storied history behind them all, behind all the branches. And I saw it. It clicked for me that it's a movie trope. It is a trope that anytime that there is a serviceman character or servicewoman character, anytime that you have a soldier, even an ex-soldier in the film, there will always be some connection to violence in that movie in some way. Like, as though, even if it's as simple as that character uses violence as a way of responding to things. And I was curious because, Eugene, you being a veteran, and and realizing that this trope is used quite a bit. In fact, it's quite often either the unstable soldier, or the quick to anger soldier, or the soldier just back from war, or currently in war, or something of that nature. Raw physicality, violence, and anything that goes along with it is always a trope. And I know that the two are linked intrinsically. Soldiers are brave. Our soldiers are made to fight. They're made to kill. They're made to defend. That is what they do. That is their training. But is that all they are? And we know that's not all they are. That's not all you are as a veteran. And it made me wonder, as a veteran yourself, when you see this, every time you see a soldier or an ex-soldier or a veteran, every time you see a soldier or a veteran or some way it's linked to the military or to this kind of government service, there's always violence involved.
It's something, because that's part of your job. The first job as a soldier, Marine, whatever, is to kill people. And usually killing people is violent in some form fashion. So it's almost like if you're going to make a movie about welder, they have to weld something. Now, there are many complexities to how people handle that. And I think that's where you get a lot of the psychology behind it. A lot of war movies, or when you see war vets, is a psychology study, because it's how do they handle it? Are they handling it well? Are they handling it poorly? Because war is, or you talk about PTSD. PTSD is a normal response for abnormal circumstances. And that's exactly, you are raised here to kill somebody. You don't hurt somebody. You're raised that your entire life. And then the military reverse that, goes, no, we need you to do that. And you're right. It's not a whole part of your personality. You compartmentalize different things in your life, but it becomes a large part of it. And that's why it's something that will always kind of stick there. We don't want to be violent. People don't want to go to war. War is terrible. War sucks. But people have to, regardless of what your opinion on the current wars and stuff like that situation. People have had to in the past, and you're grateful that there are people who actually were willing to do that, and there's people who are able to handle that. So I always hate watching military movies where it's the standard trope. You can always tell a movie where somebody does their research and they don't do your research. And I appreciate movies like Saving Private Ryan that have done the research, I love that scene where Tom Hanks is sitting in there at the radar station, and Tom Hanks is like, I don't know how I'm going to tell my wife about days like this. And that's a very humanizing
experience. I think that movie alone could put civilians, if you will, in a position that veterans or soldiers see that particular situation in.
Exactly.
Because watching that movie, like I've never served, wanted to, tried to get in, made it all the way to Maps, didn't, and then hearing from my friends what went on across the ocean, it was like maybe it's okay that I didn't go. It's just it. But then seeing that movie, it was like I feel for the characters. I feel that they are there, and I feel that I'm there with them, and that's hard. This is getting sentimental, man. It's hard because, like you said, war happens. These people go to. It's been going on since the beginning of time. It's never been different. It's not necessarily necessary, but maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not God figure.
Well, also, it's interesting. It struck me as an interesting trope. This seems to be something we always see. And while some tropes, they're gonna take place. This is simply what it is. If violence is the way that we're able to say, we can connect to the soul, we can connect violence to the soldier to get the audience to connect to the soldier for the benefit of the story. I understand that. I think it's kind of short. I think it's a kind of a little sad that that's pretty much what they're relegated to, especially, given the role of our servicemen and women, of our veterans in society, the things that they've done for us, the sacrifices they have made. I wish it was a little bit better, especially in horror films. I think it's just kind of one of those, oh dang, I wish there were a better trope. Instead of just justifying, they were a soldier. Let's show them in violence because that's what they're about. That's what it's connected to. I know it's a large part of who they are, and that will never change. But for once, I wish they didn't have to go in that direction. But as far as the storytelling, kind of a storytelling tool,
it's the fact that the majority films aren't written by veterans. And so all they see is the outside. True. They may have a friend who's a veteran, or you just hear a story, watch YouTube videos, whatever, on it. And they're like, I want somebody who, they're trouble this way, or I want somebody who's a badass and does this in either way. But they're just not. You can tell the movies that are written by veterans or people who have experienced, like, say, Apocalypse Now. But most aren't, so they're outside looking in. And the thing about being a veteran, even regardless of war and all that kind of stuff, just being a veteran is, you can tell people who are and people who are not. You can read all you want, you can watch the movies, you can watch the YouTube videos of boot camp and all this other kind of stuff, but I always use it in, we're a non-family podcast anyway. Being a veteran is like describing sex to a virgin. That's always that's exactly
it. It's a fantastic way to put it.
That is an excellent way to put it.
I come from a line of vets. I come from an Army family, and I didn't make it in because of medical reasons. I literally had a hip replacement when I was 17, 18, and I couldn't get in. And I felt so shitty because I couldn't get in. But then shit hit the fan, and I was like, I want to be there. And then I heard all the stories from everybody that came back, all my friends and everything, and I was like, man, that sucks. Like, I appreciate the veterans that went to war. I thank you for your service, but I would not. It changes you. You're a different person when you come back. Eugene, thank you for your service. I mean,
well, this is always the story I go back to, right? And so because you'll get funny moments like this. So I was in Afghanistan, and I was in for R&R, and we were in this boardwalk area. Yeah, we had rest and relaxation, a couple days. And so we were in like this boardwalk area, and there's like a Subway and a Domino's and stuff like that, and people walking around. Well, all of a sudden we started receiving mortar fire. So you'll have the alarm start going off, and you hear the booms as they're like walking them in and all this other kind of stuff.
Hold on.
People are hitting the deck left and right.
This is, you're already talking about it like it's a normal fucking thing, and it's not.
It's a funny story. It's a funny story. So yeah, so mortars start coming in. So I go and I look at my sergeant, and my sergeant we went to go order some lamb kebabs, and my sergeant's yelling at the kebab guy because the kebabs are run to a bunker, and my sergeant wants this fucking lamb kebab. And so like he's like, I need to go, all this other kind of stuff in his like broken English, and he's like, that I'm still fucking hungry. You run a bunker, he's gonna put a fucking lamb kebab in my stomach. God damn it, get him back and fucking make that shit. So yeah, everybody else is hitting the deck, and mortars and stuff like that are going, alarms are going off, and me and my sergeant, the only two Marines, were just standing there like, yeah, we're just gonna get food.
The moral of the story is like,
that's wild. I didn't. What did we learn here? What did we learn here? It's like J.K. Simmons in J.K. Simmons in Burn After Reading. So what did we learn here? I have no fucking clue either. I have no fucking clue.
Feed the guys.
I don't know.
Oh, like, yeah, food. Don't mess with Marines' food.
That's crazy. And then we get to live in our fucking life over here where we're just like, ew, I don't like the words that the person on the TV is saying.
Yes. A big, huge thank you, a big, huge shout out and thank you to all of our servicemen and women. A lot of you are fans of Week in Horror, and we really do appreciate everything that you sacrifice, everything you give for our country. So all of our love to you guys out there currently, you're overseas, currently deployed, currently on leave. We appreciate everything you do. So all of us here.
And I actually go ahead and go to the CTA of what is your favorite grindhouse film? We talked a lot about the grindhouse style of it, VFW, and we talked about some others like Hobo with the Shotgun and Machete and Death Proof and Planet Terror, and obviously going back to a ton that released like in the 70s. So what is your favorite grindhouse film?
Definitely let us know in the comments or shoot us an email, weekinhorror@gmail.com, because Alex gets those emails.
I do get them all. I get them all first, and I fucked up an announcement that we got over the email the other day because I read them all.
Well, it was just for us. We didn't spoil it to the audience. So,
all right. So, what do we got next?
Oh, it's my turn. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, Alex.
Cool. Sweet.
Yes, it's your turn, Alex.
Yay. All
it's
right,
Alex's
turn. We're going to go to a totally different fucking venue here. I know. Normally our shit lines up. It's always like we've been talking about themes and stuff. Today it's not. Nope. Not even close. It's actually
now puritanism.
No.
It's literally as far apart as you can get on each movie. So let's talk about the VVitch. The VVitch. I don't understand. Is it actually the witch or is it the VVitch?
I think it was just stylized like that,
because
just because the old English.
Anyways, so. The VVitch, February 2nd. February 2nd. February 19th. All right, Johnny, what now?
They can't hear him.
Oh, they can't hear you. This is weird. Awkward. it is not Old English, Chael. It's German. I don't know how to diss you in this situation. All right. So we're talking about The Witch, February 19th, 2016. This has gotten awkward. We're directed by Robert Eggers, also written by Robert Eggers, starring Anya Taylor-Joy, Ralph Ineson, Kate Dickel, Harvey Scrimshaw, Ellie Granger, Lucas Dawson, and a couple of Viv Moore was in this, which was cool. Vivian Moore. This movie was based in New England, 1630. We had a family with 5 children. Their newborn son goes missing mysteriously, and their crops start to fail. The family kind of turns on one another, and this just turns into a puritanical terror horror story very quickly. Not well received by a lot of people, but also very well received by the people who understood what was going on in that time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And goats.
It is a goat.
There's a goat.
It's a violent goat too.
Yeah, there's a big.
There's a goat.
There's a big
Before
goat.
we even get started, this was the thing that like I rewatched this because I've seen this movie like 7 times now, and it always bugged me because of the aspect ratio, and I didn't realize that they had shot it in 1.661, which is a rare aspect ratio for them to shoot in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, because a lot's like, and then you don't see a lot in like a 1.85, but 1.66 is not ever really shot in. I couldn't actually name another movie that was shot in 1.66.
Well, yeah, because the aspect ratio it helped to lend itself to the unsettling kind of like atmosphere or the unsettling experience. You don't often see, obviously things don't often things are rarely if ever made these days in that aspect ratio. So seeing it already, you're seeing something seems off
real well.
about the picture.
Is Shrooms shot in that too? Yeah. I think
I had to look it up.
That would be interesting. I'd have to look into that. So one thing, I really, really enjoyed The Witch, and I know it was an incredibly divisive film, and we will talk about that. The freaking how this really divided both critics and
Garnett
and
was
the people that, and of course the audiences saw it. So I dug this one, and we've always had we've thrown around the term intelligent horror. Another term coined by critics is elevated horror. Is what they refer to this one. It's the horror that kind of transcends the horror genre or the horror flick genre. I dug this one because the focus was not on jump scares, and it was not about. And it conveyed the environment of the puritanical the Puritan settlers very, very well. I got a real good feel like 1630s. They're coming here to New England. They're in New England. The family gets banished from the colony. They have to go out and they have to pretty much go out and live their own lives. They don't leave, and you get a real sense of how fucking hard it was living during that time. Everything because they kept the production authentic. Everything that was on the set was working, and it was from the time period. So you're looking at just the wilderness. That was wilderness. Like deep, untouched, untamed wilderness that they were living next to in this small little area. They got their farm going. It's back-breaking labor every single day just to get food on the table. So it's a brutal existence, especially when you're not a part of the major group. You're not like in the village. You're like out there by yourself. So, and then, they keep their faith with them. Their faith is very entrenched in everything they do, and I love the Old English language, that the fact that they were speaking as they spoke then. I thought it was a brilliantly made, beautifully made film, and it didn't rely on jump scares. It relied on the atmosphere itself, because if you just putting yourself in their shoes, living in that time in and of itself, no witches involved, no supernatural shit involved, that shit would be fucking terrifying.
It really is, because you have to think about the 1630s. So you got people who are coming over from England. So you're already in an unfamiliar continent. And you weren't able to do any research or anything like that. You didn't have a lot of people that are coming back. So you have the first English colony was around 1580, Roanoke, so 1585, somewhere around there. And they disappeared completely. And So you don't really have a lot. You don't really have a lot. So in the very beginning, when you have the colony, you had about a 40 to 50% mortality rate inside the colony within 1 year. So you're already looking at, usually you had around about 100, 120 people. So 50 people died within the first year of just very starvation, all this other kind of stuff. The seeds he brought over don't work in American soil. You have Indians that are out there. You just have this area that's completely unknown. And that's why I really enjoyed about this film, was because it used that unknown. We can go and go, okay, well, this is a forest here, this is a lake there, we know how far, we know how big this park is. No, to them, you land in a certain area and you just see trees. You have no idea how far that forest goes. You don't know what's in it.
And chock full of animals, bears, wolves, all manner of things. They could take your children. That could take you. You could get lost. No maps. No way of orientating yourself.
You're from California, right?
It was a brute.
And Eugene, you've lived here your whole life.
Yeah.
All right. I was just wondering. I lived in Minnesota. There was bears and shit to take you every day.
Man Devil says 50% death rate in the first year. Sounds like all my attempts at Dwarf Fortress. Yeah, that's goddamn right. But just the setting itself. No witches involved, no supernatural stuff, and even then, the supernatural stuff was really kept to a minimum. It really, really was. Other than obviously the climax, the ending, of course, when when Black Phillip shows up and it's like, holy shit, it's the fucking devil. And it was right. That line was like, she's like, I cannot write my name. It's like, I will guide your hand. That was kind of a chilling moment, because you don't really see him. He's kind of behind her. He's the influence. Thought it was brilliantly done. When the goat took out the dad, that was like, because everybody else pretty much succumbed to whatever succumbed to insanity, succumbed to fear, whatever, end up killing themselves or getting themselves killed. The dad was like, I'm holding on to the goat. Like, no, I have to do this myself. Bam, it just took the dad out. I was like, holy fuck. It's like, damn, but I loved the depiction of life like that. And then you couple, and then I think Eggers captured it perfectly well. You have the Puritan faith, okay? Highly superstitious. Witches around every fucking corner shit. This is the shit that led to the Salem witch trials. All right? So you've got already the pervasive fear of the devil around every corner. And that was in London, that was in England. Then you bring it over here to the untamed wilderness of the Northeast. Okay? You've got, indigenous Americans there, tribes that are uncontacted by European settlers. You've got the wildlife. You've got no way of navigating. You don't know where their fucking resources are, and you've just been kicked out of the colony, kicked out of the village. Just that situation alone lends itself to abject terror almost every single day. Okay, and then couple that with the superstitious notion that there are demons and witches and things that will steal your children, and hiding around that it drives them even further into their faith, to the point that they almost destroy themselves trying to hold on to the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at that time you had, I think it was King James I wrote a book about witches in like 1640s. So around that time period. Yeah. And you have to realize, and so in the very beginning, when you exile somebody from your colony, that's a death sentence. That's like, we want to kill you, but we don't want to actually execute you. So you go out.
And back then, the death was slow and painful.
Are you kidding me? In the Northeast now, death is slow and painful. Here's the thing that I learned.
Especially when Boston doesn't make the World
today,
Series.
Actually, the East Coast is kind but not nice, and the West Coast is nice but not kind. And I never felt that more than in the history of this movie, because it's like people are kind, but they're not nice. Listen, shit sucks. Suck it up. Like, we'll have your back, but don't be a pussy.
You know,
and then you got JL's line where it's like, yeah, we love you, and then they talk shit behind your back.
Yeah. what the hell can I do? You know. A shout out for that actress. I believe that Mandel's referring to Anya Taylor-Joy, who is fantastic. She was excellent in this film. You've been trying to imagine the struggles of a 16-year-old girl in a Puritan society. Okay, a devastatingly puritanical father. All right, and she has worldly desires. She has desires to come into herself, to come into her sexuality, to come into her own power, of independence, of being her own person, of realizing her own identity. And of course, in the Puritan faith, all of this gets shut down. You have a patriarchal society. Women know their place. Women stay in their place. And of course, because God and her father and her faith cannot supply that which she desires so badly, of course, Satan comes sneaking in, starts talking to her, like whispering to her directly. And of course, the witches represent everything that the Puritans stand against. Their murderous liberation and acceptance of themselves and a full expression of themselves, whereas the Puritans were all about repression, keeping everything bottled in. And so I love the dichotomy between the two, and how what the Puritans, and also the depiction that what the Puritans used to protect themselves is what opened them up to destruction, is that they repressed so hard that it made them weak to attack. And I love that play there. And of course, there wasn't a lot of until she's naked and floating in the fucking air. There wasn't a lot of supernatural shit in this movie.
But there's not.
Okay?
It comes down to demonic
literally
movies.
could have been
not
naked women.
Demons aren't necessarily supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as we knew, it was a bunch of women just running around naked in the woods.
It doesn't matter. That's what I love about demonology and shit like that. It's not supernatural. It's not ghosts and demons. People don't need to be flying around. It doesn't need to be shit like moving. It's fucking demons. It's hell. It's like.
I thought the old woman.
that was weird as fuck. But that's what it is. That's what it is.
That was a creepy fucking scene.
Fucking long time from the 1600s, where it was that weird fucking. Okay, I believe in this thing, and I'm gonna do weird shit because of it. Dude, I love supernatural, but some of the stuff they touch on is like. It's closer than any of the stuff that you see in like modern demon movies. Sorry, you're going to get me started on demonology, and that's not a good idea.
Yeah. One thing that I challenge anybody who it's been a while since they've seen the film. When you go back and watch it, really listen to the ambiance. Okay, listen to the ambient sounds. The way the exterior world was captured, especially after they've been kicked out, they're living on the farm, they're doing their thing. If you listen to the sounds themselves, there's a lot of shit in there. Of course, everything on film is so stark because you've got the backdrop of nature, of just untamed nature, and then you've got the stark colors of the Puritan faith. Blacks and whites, and not a lot of grays and browns, but just very much boom. This is the way it is. And the way they contrast to each other is really brilliant. And then, of course, the witches themselves definitely conform more their color palettes to nature itself. The colors, the way they shot it, the cinematography, and of course the sound design on this were absolutely stunning. Regardless of how much
going off of that, that's how it immersed yourself in that time period. And that's something that's actually really hard to do with a lot of films, is really go and like put yourself in that position. And the fact that everything's authentic, because he had so many historical advisors come out in it to really sell that time, because he knew that was the tipping point of the film. He had to sell the 1630s, and he does.
Yeah. Now, despite the fact that we've heaped a ridiculous amount of praise on this film as far as its technical capacity and, of course, the acting, I thought the acting was fantastic. The writing was brilliant. I know the film was ultimately very divisive. People watched this thing and either absolutely adored the film for what it was saying, for all of its themes, for its depiction of life in that time, and it was just brilliant. But then there were people that really fucking hated this movie. I've never met somebody who was lukewarm on The Witch. He was like, I thought it was okay. It had some good moments, like whatever. People either loved or hated this shit. And I think the majority of the people that I discovered who hated it was predominantly because of the language.
Yeah, I like to consider this, if we're gonna have like intelligent horror as the new genre, then this is either the first or proto. And well, the reason I say that is because when you have a launching point for a new genre, usually the first film is really decisive. So if you take, say, zombie films and you look at Carnival of Souls, so Carnival of Souls is like proto-zombie. They're not full zombies yet. And Carnival of Souls is a really divisive film. People praise it and base their films off of it, and other people can't even stand and watch it. And so with The Witch, I think it's, first of all, your expectations. If you're looking for really big supernatural horror, it's not going to lead up to it. But if you go into it with kind of an open mind, those were the people that actually really liked it on it. But you're right. It's something, if you're looking for The Ring and Insidious or something like that, yeah, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get these jump scares. You're not going to, there's not really super gore or anything like that. But if you want to look at how to establish an atmosphere in a movie, that's a master class in that. And I like to shout out to, it was like, I think it's like the Middle Son, who, when he had that 2-minute take on that monologue as he was lifting up and then laid back down, fucking incredible moment. Incredible. On it. But you're right, it's decisive. I know, like I said, I know people who love it, I know people who hate it, but see, that right there is a sign of a impactful film, because most films that come out, people are apathetic. So it's like it's whatever, and then a year later,
not bad for his first movie.
Not bad for his first movie, and he follows it up well too. But good.
Yeah, the Lighthouse.
Yeah. But yeah, it's this. Damn it. Making a film that's going to be impactful, making a film that people are going to be talking about 10 years later, and people will be talking about this film 10 years later.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes. Oh man, the fucking Lighthouse, man. That one was a bit shaky. That shook me up a little bit. There was a fucking Lovecraftian weirdness and all kinds of just Willem Dafoe. I was absolutely stunned by Willem Dafoe's monologue in The Lighthouse. He has that monologue where the camera is slowly pulling into him when he's going off. He's telling the story. I was captivated. I was just like inching closer to the screen. That scene was so incredible. Sorry, Man Devil, no Lighthouse spoilers. I will let you.
We won't spoil anything. That's the whole thing. The Lighthouse. We should do like an extra on that movie just because of how insane it was.
It was pretty damn amazing. So, but yeah, crazy how divisive this film was. That even the critics were divided on it. But overall, I think people loved it. But those who didn't love it really voiced their displeasure with it. Either it was because of the language, or it was because of maybe it was the depiction of how women were treated in it, or who knows, or maybe it was just the fact that it didn't have any jump scares. A lot of people said that it wasn't scary. Like, this movie's not scary at all. It's like, well, you got to look at it from this point of view. You have to look at it from the storytelling of the situation, of like where they're at, what time period is it in. And people are like, oh, it's supposed to be supernatural shit, and witches like ripping people open and taking the organs out and casting spells. Stuff. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way. It can literally be.
You have to immerse yourself in the time period.
Is what this was.
This was a horror movie.
And see, I think people have become accustomed to films feeding everything to them, and so a lot of people are like, "Well, it needs to be jump scares. It needs to be stuff like this." So it's like, no, that's the thing about intelligent horrors is we give you enough, but you still have to think and pay attention to what's actually going on, instead of just constantly like, well, we're just going to reveal everything eventually, and this is all the stuff. This is what you should be thinking about. It's like, no, use your fucking brain and think.
I think that's the hardest part. And even Jail, we were talking the other day about how like you think about the underlining messages and stuff. That's what it takes to be a horror fan. A horror is, you say intelligent horror, but all horror is intelligent. It can be scary. It can be the jump scares. It can be all that,
Well, I don't know, man. Bride of Chucky wasn't exactly intelligent.
That's what I'm talking about. There's films out there made for the. See, This is live, and there's people watching. Made for the not so intelligent horror fan. But that doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you're there.
No. The new term is elevated horror. So the unelevated horror.
Scares, and that's fine. That's fine. You can have those movies. True. But when it comes to stuff like this is what we're here for. This is the reason that we got together as a group, because it's these movies that like we have to sit and we have to break down. We have to talk about it like, yo, you got to look at the situation. 1630s, everything sucks already. Throw a fucking goat in the mix, and it's terrifying.
Yeah. Man Devil would like to say jump scares are fine if we are jumping along with the main character to feel their feelings. But jump scares of stuff the character didn't see just pisses him off.
Exactly.
And I can agree with that. Yes, it's Sir Little Wolf. Poultry, guys, Night of the Chicken Dead is not an intelligent horror film.
Wait a second. Can we talk about the scene in the kitchen?
Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys was not an intelligent horror film. I mean, yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, Corey Feldman, Vanessa Angel.
Those like talking about jump scares. I was watching, because I watch a lot of film channels and stuff like that. And one filmmaker was, I know. But one was breaking down, he was like, jump scares is not fear. Jump scare is surprise. True fear can be something completely different. And then he showed a scene from, I was like, there's a Asian film like Hario or something like that, where the ghost comes out from under the stairs, and it's not a jump scare, but it was terrifying. It was really terrible.
Terrifying is being hung upside down.
Are you talking about Terrifier? Are you talking about Terrifier?
Yes.
I know exactly where you're going, because that is
and then him flashing a rusty hacksaw. You know, in front of him, like, yeah, we're gonna do this.
It's like, dude, Terrifier is probably one of the fucking scariest movies ever. I know,
dude. I can't wait for the second one. Terrifier 2.
That's gonna be so rough.
It's gonna be insane.
I love it.
So I agree. Sarcasm, horror is the ultimate social commentary. What we fear does define us. We have always said, we've always had the mentality here that the horror genre is the most important genre. Number one, because it is. We've always seen horror as kind of like the barometer for the anxieties of society. That the things that we fear, the things that make us anxious, there will always be movies for us to watch that allow us to expel that, to basically to vent that fear, okay, to as a catharsis. That is very, very important for society. And even back when horror was just in books, people would read that to have these experiences and alleviate themselves of the terror of what was going on in society at the time. Like if you take Shelley's Frankenstein, when she sat down to write that on that stormy night, with when all those writers got together on a dark and stormy night to write a scary story, and she wrote Prometheus, the modern Prometheus. When she wrote that, at the time, electricity, the electricity was a new phenomena. Okay, so you had Tesla, you had Edison, you had the rise in this kind of power. And so the idea that, and then of course the very early scientific idea that humans are electric, that we run electrical impulses. The brain sends electrical impulses down through the body, and that's how the body communicates with itself. The idea that you could use electricity to animate a body was something completely new. But it was the advent of this new technology. New technology is always kind of scary. You don't know what's going to happen with it. Nuclear war. Like what were the after effects of nuclear war? We got giant monster movies in the 50s because of nuclear bombs. We got Godzilla because of nuclear bombs. So there, we've always seen it. The horror genre will always follow what's going on. And that's why we love it so much. That's why it is so important. That's why it's also the most flexible, because people will always be scared of shit. Whether it's ghosts or witches or demons or serial killers or whatever. You're always going to find something.
All right, hey, I gotta
especially the innocuous shit.
Because I gotta pull this fucking sweatshirt off real quick. It's the hottest fuck in this garage.
All right.
It's gonna get sexy in here for a second. All right, audience. Did you enjoy The Witch? If you didn't, we know you're not into intelligent horror, and we cannot communicate. I'm just kidding. Did you enjoy the film? Did you enjoy the film?
That's
and
fucked
if you
up,
did
dude.
enjoy the film, what were the aspects of the film that you did enjoy specifically? I want to know those. And if you did not, tell me why you did not enjoy those specific situations. Let us know in the comments. weekendhorror@gmail.com. I'm about to take my shirt off. Hold on.
Oh yeah, onlyfans.com.
Do I gotta switch over to the page real quick? Hold on.
Well, I mean, you're not okay. You're good to go.
I hope not.
All right, let's jump to our final film. We have one more to get through, and I know everybody in the chat has been chomping at the bit since they saw the description. But yeah, released February 19th, 1993. We got Army of Darkness. Yes, directed by Sam Raimi and written by Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi, his brother, and starring, of course, Ashley J. Williams, Bruce Campbell, man, and
okay, true.
no, it should be fun. Starring, it'll piss off all the flat earthers out there. Starring Bruce Campbell and M. Beth Davids, and a host of other small actors, but all of them magnificent. The third entry in the Evil Dead trilogy, and obviously the funniest of the three. So, what can I say? Ash finds himself at the end of Evil Dead 2. Ash is sent back in time. He goes through the portal and he winds up in medieval times. Never tells you what year it is. He ends up getting captured, and he ends up getting thrown into a well. And then after proving that he is a hero and the destined one that the book foretold, that the Necronomicon foretold would come and save them from evil, as he's attempting to get back, to use the Necronomicon to get back home, he becomes embroiled in a war between the Deadites and, of course, the people of the castle that are helping him, a war that he himself actually caused. Because why? Klaatu Verata. Okay. All right. I fucking love that scene. I really do.
Well, I said the words
yes,
now.
Yes,
I'll
Bruce
take the book.
Campbell. Okay. Whoa.
Man, the chat got weird, huh?
So, now something very, something I always thought was really, really cool is the arc of this trilogy. Now, obviously, we have more. We have Ash vs. Evil Dead continues on in the classic vein of Sam Raimi, and then of course the Evil Dead remake. But the original trilogy, Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. So Evil Dead was straight horror, a little bit of comedy peppered in there just to lighten it because otherwise it would have been really, really heavy. But I mean, come on, that was straight horror. Ash puts his girlfriend's head in the vice and fucking hits with a chainsaw and shit. God, come on. And then Evil Dead 2, obviously that was a horror comedy. It's got to be comedy. Ash is losing his mind. He's going crazy, laughing his ass off in the middle of the room when the objects in the cabinet are laughing at him. The deer's head, shit like that. When the fucking chairs are laughing at you, that's hilarious. That's objectively funny. But this one was all funny. This was a comedy. Yeah, it was a comedy horror. There were some horror elements. I'll swallow your soul.
It's all terrifying.
There was. Okay, then you can say there was some there were some horror elements to this film, but it's part of the Evil Dead trilogy. But this was mostly a fucking comedy. I know some people that thought there was some scary stuff, like obviously the Army of the Dead, although they were done comedically because they're talking to each other like Larry, Moe, and Curly and shit. And there's just a lot of goofiness in it, but there were some good moments. You found me, beautiful one. Maybe you got real lucky.
But it is.
That
goes full comedy, and it's really interesting because to me it kind of worked. It kind of to the way we see Ash Williams today, because as you carry on through Ash versus the Evil Dead, it makes sense. So instead of getting somebody like, say, Ellen Ripley, which the Alien franchise, straight horror, and Ellen Ripley is serious the entire time, we get somebody that is fun that we can root for. And I think going comedy was a great move because it made Ash Williams stay. Like that was what because
Yes.
Evil Dead, the first one, the super low budget. Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell found a cabin in the woods that was missing a wall, and they're like, let's make a movie here.
Yep.
And that's the cabin that you get on it, and it showcases a bigger stage, obviously a much bigger budget than the first two Evil Dead, and it was a great ending of the franchise. But I like it because it was not an ending that you would expect. You would expect them to go back to the cabin. You would expect present day, and it's like we're just gonna throw some shit out. We're in a medieval world. We got the Necronomicon. We got skeletons attacking castles. Let's fucking do it, and it worked.
Sir Little Wolf. That was just pure time, baby. He's fighting duty, and Bruce Campbell is so fucking great. And I love this.
On that movie,
I love this. When he's talking about he's summing up the events, he got in my hand.
Hardware out 12.
My name is Ash, and I'm a slave. Dude, okay, yes, the boomstick monologue is
he starts talking about it, and everybody's like,
It's like, and they're like, look, it's like, wow, this is a good sales pitch. And in honor of this, I had to wear it. So I don't know how well people see it, but this is my Shop Smart, Smart shirt. So I had to. Yes, I had to wear that shit. So I have, Shop Smart, Shop S Smart. Yeah, got that.
Your mic there?
Yeah. We got it. I love that, and I love that moment when he's like, okay, for that you must die. He pulls out his freaking sword and he shoots that fucking sword with his shotgun, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Oh, but nothing was funny. I mean, the movie was objectively hilarious, and it had all these great moments in it, especially the London Bridge is falling down. That shit was great. But the funniest was the fight in the well when they throw him in the well. And I don't think I'd seen a slapstick fight when she hits him in the face so many times. That fucking monster had arms. It's just whack. And then, of course, the skeleton hands in the graveyard. The skeleton hands in the graveyard was fantastic. That's how you. I mean, always, obviously, objectively.
Started out though. That's how you get it going.
Oh man. So, but we see a bunch of horror films. Horror films will do this. That they'll start out straight horror and they'll move towards comedy. And oftentimes it doesn't work. Blade did it.
Trinity, though.
Because Blade 2 and Blade 3 was way more
horror
comedy.
films that did it immediately. Like Dale versus.
What do you mean did it immediately?
Fuck. Don't fuck me. I don't even belong here. Just keep going.
Anyway, so we see a lot, but it doesn't often. Horror films will move towards comedy. Leprechaun was one move towards comedy very, very quickly. And Critters as well. Critters was another one that moved towards comedy that jumped into that arena. And for some reason, obviously, it doesn't often work. Okay, where they put the comedy ahead of time. In fact, Critters actually hit it early. They did in Critters 2. That was more comedic than the first one.
Yeah, it's coming from the get-go. Are you talking about
comedy from the start?
Dale and Tucker versus Evil. Yeah.
But let's
Dale and Tucker versus Evil. That's the fucking
Sir Little. I'm not with the Sir Little Wolf. I'm not with this asshole. I don't think they'll listen to you. I don't think they're going to listen to you, lad. But the absolute I think it was solely Bruce Campbell that made this survive. The reason that this exists. But okay, whatever. But yes, I think it was solely because of Bruce Campbell that we still have Evil Dead today. That they can make that transition to full comedy, and then of course Ash vs. Evil Dead 20 years later to reel it back in and go, it was almost 25 years later, almost 30 years later, back to kind of like Evil Dead 2 status, where it's a combination of horror, a little bit of drama, and a whole lot of comedy. So I think, solely upon the power of the chin, the power of Bruce Campbell. I mean, he made these movies. I think he was one of the best aspects of Burn Notice. The movies he's done have been The Man with the Screaming Brain,
Yes.
Bubba Hotep. He's unique in that's it. I mean, that's the man right there. And I loved his little pop-ups in Raimi's Spider-Man films. But yeah, if it wasn't for Bruce Campbell, I don't think that.
Well, because on top of that, you talk about.
Thank you, Johnny. Yes, Dale Tucker versus Evil was the best.
Yes. Oh, that movie's awesome. But the thing with a lot of the franchise you mentioned earlier in terms of going comedy, I think the reason they don't work is because you don't have that enduring main character that follows through. A lot of times it's just a villain. So you take like Leprechaun in Space. Well, it's just a leprechaun. Everybody else is new versus you already got somebody to root for and somebody that has that comedic timing. And with Bruce Campbell, there's so many. Bruce Campbell or the Ash Williams is perfect because he has that right amount of cockiness. He has that comedic timing. And there's so many little things. Like I love the moment where he shoots the witch after like in the Colden. She shoots the witch and he like shoots her behind the back and he's like, just little things like that.
Well, that goes that's the progression of the character because he's been through this shit twice already. Okay, when she falls down, it's like, she falls down, and then, the lead night dude is like reaching to, and of course, and then he's like, stop, it's a trick, get an axe, and the bitch jumped up and hit that fucker in the face. He's like, God, he's like, it's a trick, grab an axe. It's like, oh. And yeah, of course, then what was it? The spin kicks with the shotgun blast is fucking amazing. Oh man, and no one can reload a shotgun with one hand.
Can we
like Ash Williams?
We just launched our new T-shirt, and we talked about the horror icons that we wanted to be represented by, right? Okay, so
yes. So it's the five of us. It's the three of us, Johnny, and it's the four of us in the cast, and Angela.
And it's a fantastic fucking design. I love it.
Oh, it was brilliant. Yes, Joshua Olsen did it. He really outdid himself. I just gave him the idea that we wanted to do this, and that's what he came up with.
I'm getting as soon as you can pull up a sticker, I'll put it on my truck. I got the new. I've got our Weekend Horror podcast sticker up on my truck now. I want to know. The only reason that I didn't pick Ash was because I didn't know if that counted as a horror icon.
Yeah, I was good.
He is a horror icon.
That was my first choice, and that's why I was kicking myself afterwards because I was like, "Is that the deal?" Because absolutely, 100%, this is my guy, and so I just didn't know, and later on, I'd like to be represented as him. I'm just putting it on the record
for the next shirt.
Well, to be honest, I think the choice you made was good because of the space on the T-shirt. You were represented. You're represented by Ghostface. We gave you the joint because that symbolizes you. And so, although a lot of people, I
haven't done that in a long time, but that's only because I'm trying to get a job. Anyway. Just kidding. I run my own company.
But seriously, I thought it worked out because it's trying to be Ash. Ash is, obviously, you could do like the big ass chin, but you need the chainsaw.
Yeah,
that's the number one thing. You gotta have the chainsaw.
I was trying to make the space, and but that was my first choice. Just to throw it out.
Oh, so Sir Little Wolf says, of course, Ash is an icon. Ooh. Give us your horror card.
Hold on. Let me scroll back up. Was that? Oh, no, that was Mandevil. Never mind. Mandevil said that he would pay for an OnlyFans where I was sleeping. And you know what? Honestly, if that's the truth, PM me anywhere and we can get that set up. I will set up a camera.
Well, I think we can definitely thank Bruce Campbell for this. Unfortunately, after he hung up or after he finished Ash vs. Evil Dead season 3, after it was canceled, which was a goddamn shame because they kind of had to rush the ending.
Shit production.
It was a bummer.
Yeah,
it was just fucking rough as hell. But I mean, it was a decent. It was rushed, yes. But I dug out the end, and we know that the adventure in our head canon, we know that the the adventures of Ash will continue on. And of course, there will be more Evil Dead. There's another Evil Dead movie coming out. Now, Ash has hung up the chainsaw, unfortunately. So the legacy of Bruce Campbell as Ash has kind of ended. Now, the series set it up that he had a daughter, and his daughter may follow in his footsteps. There was rumors that he may reprise the role of Ash, but not do any of the craziness as a possibility in the future. I don't know, but I think like Robert Englund has hung up the gloves, and I think Bruce Campbell has hung up the chainsaw. I don't think we're going to see him as Ash in the future, like performing as the character anymore. Before we jump to the CTA, I'm really curious for this enduring legacy of Evil Dead. Who could take over the role? Is there an actor that could fill those shoes?
Mia. No, that's what I was Mia. Mia from the 2013.
Oh, it should continue with her character.
I would see another movie with her in it.
Man Devil says, when I saw Bubba Hotep, I actually thought Bruce had aged that badly, and I felt sad. Now he's like 10 years old. Now he's like 10 years older than me and looks 10 years younger. Well, I will admit, he looked like shit.
Bruce Campbell got the last laugh.
Shit, we got Man Devil.
Yes, he did.
PM
yes,
incoming. He did. Which platform?
I don't know. I guess it's going to be a surprise. So I'm really curious. I'm curious as who's going to step into the shoes and pick up the reins. Maybe we'll get another Evil Dead trilogy. That'll be really, really awesome. But for those in the audience, let us know. The CTA, we want to ask, what is your favorite installment of Evil Dead? The first one, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. Was it the series itself? Because the series was fucking amazing. Yeah. Lucy Lawless was off the chain in that. Bruce Campbell was just absolutely perfect in everything he did. Fucking reading the Necronomicon as love poetry. That shit was funny as fuck. And of course, everybody in that was magnificent. And also the remake. The remake was fantastic. I recently showed that Alien X Gaming saw that movie for the first time in the theater on our Discord. So if you are not in our Discord, hit that. The link is in the description. So definitely check that out. We show movies in there. We have a lot of fun in our Discord. So Alien X Gaming saw the Evil Dead remake the first time, and I shit you not. So we're like chatting. I created a little theater chat so people could talk to each other while they're watching the movie. And like every 5 minutes, he's texting, he's like messaging, what the fuck? I was like, oh, dude, it gets worse. It's gonna get so much worse. It just escalates, dude. Every moment he's like, until finally at the end, I know he was just slack-jawed when Mia's got that fucking chainsaw and just drives like, eat this motherfucker, or swallow this motherfucker, and just jams it down the abomination.
I know you were kidding. Chill out.
But yeah, we.
Listen, I got fucking 3 kids, a fourth on the way, a wife. I don't got time to fucking videotape myself. Sleeping.
Mandel.
I don't sleep. That's the fucking.
Mandevil says Evil Dead 2 is his favorite. Sir Little Wolf favored Army of Darkness. Sarcasm says the original, the first Evil Dead. What a plot hole. What a shitty sequel of a major horror franchise referenced the Book of the Dead. What shitty sequel of a major horror franchise referenced the Book of the Dead?
Wait, did we already CTA?
No.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I did the CTA. Yeah, what was their favorite Evil Dead entry? What shitty sequel of a major horror franchise referenced the? I'm assuming the Necronomicon is what you're referring to.
No, this is a trivia question.
They called it the Book of the Dead.
What do we get?
Yeah, what do we get? Plot hole.
Respect is overrated.
Respect, he says.
People can't hear when he comes in. That's annoying.
No, people cannot hear Johnny when he pipes in.
Right. It's
like we're talking to a ghost. No, don't
Jessica
do that.
G. Fire away.
Don't fucking do that. Don't fucking do that. Oh fuck, dude! We got some.
Oh yes, we do.
Man.
Yes, we do.
Birthdays.
All right. So we'd like to take a moment to wish happy birthday to the Creeper himself, Jonathan Breck, whose birthday is February 17th, 1965. And we like to remember legendary German actor Dieter Laser, who was born February 17th, 1942, and passed away February 29th, 2020.
Just in time to see two major fucking downfalls of the United States.
Yeah. Man, dude, fucking okay. Number one, Jonathan Breck, just rocking it as the Creeper. He's done three movies as a horror icon. Fucking love the Creeper. I really hope we get that fourth one. I really hope we get the way Jeepers Creepers 3. Say that 10 times fast. Jeepers Creepers 3 wasn't great. I mean, I like the storyline. It wasn't fantastic though. It was shot on the cheap. It had to be. So hopefully, but there was a lot of fucking loose ends in that. I want closure to that fucking story. So hopefully, Jonathan Breck says they're working towards the fourth one. They're bringing actors back from the first film, so to keep it, to keep the continuity going. So I really hope we get a conclusion on that one. And of course, Dieter Laser, who had a magnificent and very long career, but I think everybody in America knows him as the evil doctor from the Human Centipede.
That's it.
That's it.
And I got very lucky in my press days, and I got to meet Dieter. And despite the fact that he was a very accomplished actor, especially in Germany, he had a very long career, both in television and in film. He was okay with only being known as the evil doctor in Human Centipede. He was cool with that because he fucking loved that role. He absolutely adored it. I think it spoke to his style of acting in German expressionism and the kind of weird artsy stuff that came out of Germany in the 20s and the 30s. The things that, the weird experimental shit, because he very much went in that direction with kind of like a contemporary spin on it, but it spoke to him. Man Devils is Human Centipede versus society itself. But yeah, I thought he was amazing. I actually, it was not the first thing I saw him. I saw him in an episode of who remembers the sci-fi pseudo-sex?
Oh my god!
Oh yeah!
I thought I was the weirdo that
he was in an episode of Lex. That was a weird fucking. Come on, dude. The fucking innuendo. You think about the age that we were watching it. All the innuendos in that show. Fuck yes.
That's like a show that everybody sees but no one talks about. It's just like, did you watch it? Nope. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, right? So really, really fucking. He was in. You're going to be the middle one. No, I don't want to be in the middle. But definitely. Dieter Laser was an incredible character actor. He was in all three. Well, no, he was the first one and the third one of the Human Centipede trilogy. He wasn't in the second. Second one was fucking disgusting as shit. Especially since they just released the colorized version of the second one, which for some reason makes it even worse. If that's possible. So nonetheless, but Dieter Laser, he was amazing. We miss him, but he has a huge body of very weird work. Definitely check his shit out. All right, man. Alex.
Holy shit, I'm part of this podcast. Question. Sometimes I look at this and I'm like, oh shit, this is a cool podcast that I'm watching. And it's like, hey, Alex. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. Okay. All right. Yeah, something like that.
No, that's your wife's job. Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to... I know.
All right, I know everybody's been clamoring for the trivia.
There is something that I'd like to announce before we go to the closing plugs, JL. After the trivia question, there is something that I'm going to throw out there that I have not passed by you, and you're going to hate me for it, but I'm going to throw it out there. So we're going to do the trivia question first, and then I'll get to that. All right, but first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit, Alex has news.
Kind of. Just don't worry about it. All right. So
I'm going to hate you for it, but don't worry about it.
It's because I know you hate surprises, but we're pushing this podcast, and yeah, we're going to do that. First up, let's show the audience what they're going to win if they get this trivia question right.
I hope everybody can see it. Like apparently I'm all fucking pixelated and shit. But I gave a preview. On Johnny O's stream last night on the plot hole. But this is the limited edition. This was the Walgreens exclusive Funko Pop of Bela Lugosi as Dracula, part of the Universal Monsters horror line. Pixelated. And so, Yeah, I know it's so bad. I don't know if they can really see that,
Funko
but
Pop.
it's a Funko Pop. It's a Bela Lugosi Funko Pop, and it's the limited edition one. I like exclusive versions because they're variants. I just dig those better. And so, no, it's not. But we will be sending this to the winner of our trivia question.
You got somebody in the chat named Math Pig that I've never seen before.
Oh, Math Pig, the man. Hey, good to see you.
You know what? This is a weird podcast.
Thank you for stopping by. Thank you so much for stopping by. He's a good friend that I met as a part of the kind of like, because I do atheist debating. It's like as a part of that community, of that debate community, he is a major presence in that, and he's a very, very one of the smartest debaters I've seen.
Need to get on some of your
an absolute blast to talk to.
Even if the Week in Horror doesn't, even if you don't find me appealing here, atheism's going to be a good place for me.
So thank you for stopping by, Math Pig. Holy shit, Man Devil. I honestly misread that. I just glanced at the chat and I misread. I thought you said Bone Tomahawk the musical. And I was like, what the? Because Bone Tomahawk has fucking cannibalism and like cannibalistic natives and all Kurt Russell with a giant mustache, and I was like, Bone Tomahawk the musical. What the? Anyway, trivia time. Trivia time. Let's do the trivia. Give these people what they want. They came here for free shit.
Trivia question. Bela Lugosi's career spanned over 40 years. What was his final film performance? Again, Bela Lugosi's career spanned over 40 years. What was his final performance? Let us know in the comments. First one wins a Bela Lugosi Papa Funk. What
did you call it?
A Funko Pop. That's what I said.
It's a Funko Pop.
No, I said it in tequila.
No,
it's a Papa Funk in tequila. Yeah.
A Papa Funk? Man Devil is the winner.
No, that's not
no.
it.
Oh, no. Nope, Man Devil is not the winner. Sorry.
No, that is
close.
That is archival footage.
That is incorrect. Sorry. Yeah, Charlie Welch, apologies. Planet Aerospace was archival footage. That was not it was archival footage of a previous performance. Final performance is that was the key words. Okay, so reading it again. Alex, read it again.
Over 40 years. What was his final film performance? His final film performance.
Yes. The last film performance when he was put on camera. His final performance. Not our. Yeah. Unfortunately, sir, Plan 9 from Outer Space was archival footage of a previous.
Should I read it actually again? His final film performance. Performance. Why can't I get the M right? Performance.
Oh, yeah, we got one.
Yeah,
is Jinju the winner? Yeah. Read that again. Read it in the chat.
In the chat, yeah. Tim Jones, Man Devil, Odd.
Oh.
Do you see that?
Oh, so close. So close. That one hurts. That one hurts. He put the black sheep.
Alex, read it.
Oh shit!
Oh, the black sheep!
Oh my god! Yeah, no.
Damn.
Oh, you know what? Tina Jones.
Oh,
Tina Jones.
Yeah,
it's the black sleep.
She got it.
The black sleep. I couldn't.
Oh, man, Jishu, I am so sorry, dude. Oh,
you were so close.
That was close.
You were so close.
It could even be autocorrect. Holy shit.
I think that probably was autocorrect that got him. But congratulations, Tina Jones, for knocking out of the park. Oh man, I'm so.
Are you?
You know what? I feel bad. I know. Hang on a second, Alex. Hang on. Hang on. I feel bad. Okay, Tina Jones won the Funko Pop. But Jinju, I'm willing to think. Now, Tina Jones won the Funko Pop, but Jinju, I really think
need to know
that
if
it was probably an autocorrect. That
if it's on a phone or not.
It was what? Oh, it's possible. Okay, it's okay, Jinju. Jinju, send us your shipping information. Send us your information. I've got something special for you. Okay? I feel so bad that you were so close. I'm going to throw you a little consolation prize. Okay, and I hope you're going to like it. It's going to be it's going to be a surprise. I hope you dig it. Get us your information. I'm going to send you something. Tina Jones, however, you did win the Bela Lugosi Funko Pop. So I think I have your details. I do. I'm going to double check. You know what? Just to be on the safe side, Tina Jones, send me your details again because I'm actually compiling it for our listeners, just so I know I have them in a database in one place. That way I can give it to our shipping people, and I can always just reference back to you by name. So send it to us again, weekendhorror@gmail.com. Just shoot it over to us, or you can just hit me on Discord. I know we're friends on Discord. So hit me there, and we'll get this shipped out to you as quick as we can. Hopefully it'll be a shorter trip than the damn shirt was. And then Jinju, shoot me your stuff too. I'm gonna send you a little something because man, autocorrect that fucking sucks. So yeah, both of you.
Yeah, double winners. Boom.
All right, here's the deal. I
it.
told you I was gonna do something. Here it is.
All right. Piss me off, Alex.
It's gonna fuck you up. All right. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, you're in this weekly chat right now. We're talking right now. I haven't actually seen a lot of blue for a little while. Actually, no, not since the plot hole. You got Charlie, Sir Wolf, Brutus, and Zhu. If you're a Patreon subscriber, we're going to set something up on our website in the next week. So we will have it set up by next week's podcast. You set your birthday up as a Patreon subscriber in our website. We will figure out how to do that, and we will let you know how to do it on next week's podcast. We will be doing a birthday giveaway.
Okay.
Why would that piss me off?
I will personally back the giveaway. You subscribe to our Patreon. You know what? Fuck it. You subscribe to our YouTube. Punch your birthday in on our website. When we get this set up, we will come back to you next week, and I will have a link set up where you can punch in your birthday, and we will have a list of birthdays, and I will send you something personally from my wallet on your birthday.
Free birthday gift.
Free birthday gift on your birthday if you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's awesome. I'm down for that.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. That's cool. Why would that piss me off? What the fuck?
I was going to do a Patreon thing, but that's not even fucking fair. So no, anybody that subscribes to our YouTube channel, tell your friends, tell your family, whatever. We will send you something. It'll be a mystery gift. It'll be a t-shirt, a sticker, a coffee mug, something from our Teespring, something not from our Teespring. I will come up with something. You put your birthday in there, and I will get you something the week of your birthday. Guaranteed.
Oh, we got two coming up. Charlie Welch and Sarcasm. So you better get that link on there.
We will come up with we'll talk about it after the show. I'm gonna get Angela's gonna be on the stream when we do our bloodbath debate after the show, and we will come up with a way to punch your birthday in without it'll be your email and your birthday. We're not gonna spam you or anything, but we need your email address, and we will get it to you.
Oh, Sir Little Wolf. Now he's mad that you thought it would make him mad.
Right,
you can't win.
Try working with JL. God damn. No, I'm just kidding.
Holy shit. Okay.
They're fucking a decade
right,
ago. Like, it's not. They're gonna say.
Okay, and then of course, and then I left, and then you left. Or did you leave before me?
I think you technically left before I did.
I think I left before you.
I don't know. Exactly.
And now we're working together again.
Company.
So yeah, exactly. So Fucking great. Well, congratulations to our trivia winner, Tina Jones. Again, congratulations you for picking up the consolation prize. Maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll have something really, really awesome to give away. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Fucking amazing. This brings another episode of Week in Horror to a close. Thank every single one of you for listening. We truly hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to visit us at weekinhorror.net, where you can find links to all of our episodes, our bios, our merch store at Teespring, and, of course, enter your email for a permanent entry to win a mystery horror shirt every single month. We shoot one of those out there. You never know what you're going to get. It's pretty awesome. And for more horror entertainment, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and we are now on Instagram. Followers get our daily splatter, a little bit of horror info every single day, right to your feed. You never know what we're going to send you. And we really hope that you guys are enjoying the new live format. Despite the pixelation of my camera, we'd love to get your feedback. We know the camera's bad. We'll try and fix it. Subscribe to our channel and smash that fucking bell like a goddamn zombie head for all the latest from our show, like birthday giveaways. And lastly, if you truly love what we do here and you would like and are able to support our production, you can through our PayPal and our Patreon. We have patron tiers as low as $1 a month. Less than that cup of coffee, less than the monsters I drink every day that I probably shouldn't be. And we have bonus and exclusive content. We have our After Dark, with our industry guests. We have our Bloodbath debates. We have the Abattoir. We have so much in store. And horror films every month for our Mastermind tier subscribers. We send you horror movies every month for free. It's fucking amazing. Links to all of this, including our Discord community, where you can check out film recommendations, watch trailers for the films that we talk about, trivia games, and of course, movies in the theater, streamed either by Jessica G, our stream queen, or by myself. And you can interact with us directly. All of those links are down below in the description. But we know that these are difficult times, and we are not soon to be out of them. Things are very, very tight. Okay, we know not everybody can support monetarily. As always, simply liking and sharing the show to your local horror community, to the fans, to the friends that you have that love horror, simply liking and sharing the show is the absolute best way to help us continue to grow. It really is. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Why are you guys laughing?
No, we were just going along. It's just sharing.
I was making physical movements to your words.
Yes.
You.
Oh, you fucking suck. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you for your continued listenership. I am JL.
I'm Alex, and I want to give you a bunch of free shit.
We'll see you all next week. And as always, stay scared.